The simple act of eating can be a profound meditation, a mirror reflecting our inner state, but we often treat it as a chore, a distraction. This small green fruit holds a universe of wisdom if we only learn how to listen. Most people will only see the food, not the lesson. 99% will miss the final part, and in doing so, they risk nourishment of the body but starvation of the soul, a truly fatal mistake. Mindless consumption. We begin with the most common and perhaps the most pervasive of these mistakes. It is the act of consumption without presence. Imagine the scene. You have acquired this fruit, this avocado. You have brought it into your space. The moment of consumption arrives. What is the state of your mind? Is it here with the food, or is it lost in the echoes of yesterday, the anxieties of tomorrow, or the digital noise streaming from a device in your hand? To eat while the mind is elsewhere is to be absent from your own life. You are performing a mechanical function, not engaging in an act of nourishment. The body receives the nutrients, yes, but the spirit, the awareness, the deeper self receives nothing. It is like sending a letter with no message inside. The paper arrives, but the meaning is lost. This is the first mistake, to treat the sacred act of eating as a mere refueling process. When we eat in this state of distraction, we do not truly taste. Our senses are dulled. We might register creamy or green, but we miss the subtleties. We miss the story the food is telling us, the story of the sun it absorbed, the water that gave it life, the earth that held its roots. We are disconnected. This disconnection is a form of poverty. It is a poverty of experience. You could be eating the most wonderful, life-giving food on the planet, but if your mind is consumed by a stressful email or a fleeting worry, you are, in that moment, consuming only stress and worry. The food becomes a secondary, almost unnoticed passenger in the vehicle of your anxiety. This is a profound disrespect, not only to the food and the journey it took to reach you, but to yourself. You are denying yourself the simple, profound pleasure of being present for your own nourishment. Think of how this pattern extends beyond the plate. If we cannot be present for the simple act of eating, how can we be present for the complexities of our relationships, for the challenges of our work, for the quiet moments of reflection that are so crucial for our growth? Mindless consumption of food is practice for a life of mindless engagement. It trains the mind to be constantly distracted, to seek stimulation from outside, rather than finding richness within the present moment. The antidote is simple, yet it requires cultivation. It requires a conscious decision. Before you take the first bite, pause, take a breath, look at the food, acknowledge it, bring your full attention to the texture, the aroma, the color. As you eat, do nothing else. Let the flavors unfold. Feel the nourishment entering your body. This simple shift transforms the act from a mechanical function into a mindful practice, a meditation. It is the first and most crucial step in turning a simple meal into a source of genuine, holistic well-being, nourishing the body, the mind, and the spirit in unison. It is the foundation upon which all other awareness is built. Without this, all that follows is meaningless. This practice is especially vital as we gather more years, as our bodies and minds call for a deeper level of care and attention. In our youth, we can often get away with this mindlessness. The body is resilient, it forgives our neglect more easily. But as we mature, the consequences of our inattention become more pronounced. The body keeps a precise score. Eating mindlessly can lead to digestive issues, to overeating because we do not register the signals of satiety, and to a general sense of being unfulfilled no matter how much we consume. The feeling of being full but not satisfied is a hallmark of mindless eating. It is the soul telling you that it was not fed. So, the invitation here is not to add another rule to your life, but to subtract a layer of distraction. To gift yourself the 10 or 15 minutes of pure, uninterrupted presence with your food. To see the avocado not as an object to be consumed, but as a partner in a dance of nourishment, a teacher of presence. This is the first correction, the first step back to a more harmonious way of being. it is the reclaiming of a fundamental human experience. Ignoring origins, the second mistake flows naturally from the first. It is the error of ignoring the origins, of seeing the avocado as a finished product that simply appeared in the store with no history, no past, no connection to the vast web of life. This is a profound form of ignorance, one that is common in our modern world. We are surrounded by products, by things, and we rarely pause to consider the journey they have taken. An avocado does not simply exist. It is the culmination of a process, a collaboration between the fundamental forces of nature. It is a child of the sun, the soil, and the rain. A tree, perhaps for many years, had to stand its ground, drawing nutrients from deep within the earth, reaching its leaves towards the sky to capture sunlight and patiently transforming that light into life, into this fruit. To hold an avocado in your hand is to hold a piece of transformed sunlight, a vessel of earth energy. When we cut it open and see its vibrant green flesh, we are seeing the life force of the planet made manifest. To ignore this is to live in a very small, very sterile world of our own making. It is to deny our own origins, for we too are children of the sun, the soil, and the rain. The same elements that created this fruit created us. The same life force that animates it animates us. In acknowledging the origin of our food, we acknowledge our own place in the great chain of existence. We remember that we are not separate from nature, but an intrinsic part of it. This remembrance is a source of great strength and humility. It dissolves the illusion of the isolated self and connects us to something much larger, much more ancient. It is a spiritual nourishment that is as important as any vitamin or mineral. Furthermore, this mistake extends to the human element. We forget the hands that cultivated the tree, the hands that protected it from pests, the hands that harvested the fruit at the right moment, the hands that transported it, and the hands that placed it on the shelf for you to find. Each of these stages involves human effort, human intention, and human energy. To consume the fruit without a single thought of gratitude for this chain of human effort is to be disconnected from our own human family. It fosters a sense of entitlement, a belief that we are simply owed these things. Gratitude, on the other hand, fosters a sense of connection and abundance. When we eat with a sense of gratitude for the earth and for the people who brought this food to us, the food itself tastes different. It is imbued with a different quality. It nourishes us on a level that goes far beyond the physical. To correct this mistake, we must cultivate a sense of inquiry and appreciation. Before you eat, take a moment to reflect on this journey. You do not need to know the exact farm or the names of the workers. Simply hold the intention of gratitude in your mind. Acknowledge the sun, the earth, the water. Acknowledge the tree. Acknowledge the chain of human effort. This simple, silent act of acknowledgement changes everything. It transforms consumption into communion. It makes the meal a sacred act of connection. For a senior, for a person of wisdom and experience, this practice is particularly potent. It aligns with the natural inclination towards reflection that comes with age. It is a way of honoring the totality of life, of seeing the interconnectedness of all things. It is the realization that this avocado is not just an object, it is a gift. And the only appropriate response to a gift is gratitude. Without this awareness of its origins, we are eating in a vacuum, isolated and impoverished in a world of profound and beautiful connection. Improper preparation. The third mistake we must explore is that of improper preparation. And here, I am not speaking of culinary technique or following a specific recipe. The most exquisite recipe can be a form of improper preparation if the state of mind of the preparer is one of haste, anger, frustration, or anxiety. The energy with which we prepare our food becomes a part of the food itself. This is not a mystical concept, it is a practical reality. When you prepare something with a calm, focused, and loving intention, your movements are different. They are more deliberate, more graceful, more respectful. When you are agitated, your movements are jarring, hurried, and careless. You might bruise the fruit, handle it roughly, or approach the task as a chore to be completed as quickly as possible. This energy is transferred. The meal becomes infused with the quality of your inner state. Think of the avocado. It has a delicate flesh. It requires a gentle hand. To prepare it well, you must be present with it. The act of slicing it, of scooping out its contents, can be a beautiful, flowing meditation. It is an interaction. You are collaborating with the fruit. When you do this with a clear and peaceful mind, the act itself is nourishing. The preparation becomes as important as the consumption. You are extending the practice of mindfulness from the plate back to the cutting board. You are creating a field of positive, calm energy around the food that you are about to take into your body. This is the truest meaning of soul food, food that has been prepared with an energy that nourishes the soul. Conversely, imagine preparing this same fruit while arguing with someone or while consumed with worry about a financial problem. The knife strokes are aggressive, the scooping is impatient, the entire process is tainted by a negative emotional charge. When you then consume this food, you are also consuming the residual energy of that agitation. You are taking that stress into your very cells. This is why a simple meal prepared with love and care by a friend or a family member can feel so much more satisfying than an elaborate meal at a fancy restaurant prepared by a stressed and angry chef. The intention, the energy, the presence, these are the invisible ingredients that determine the true nutritional value of a meal. They determine whether it will build you up or subtly wear you down. For those in their senior years, this concept becomes even more critical. The body and spirit are more sensitive to these subtle energies. A peaceful environment and a peaceful preparation process can have a tangible effect on digestion, on mood, and on overall well-being. The act of preparing one's own food, when approached with the right mindset, is a powerful form of self-care and self-respect. It is an affirmation of your own worth. You are saying, I am worthy of food that has been prepared with care and attention. It is a way of taking control of your own nourishment, not just on a physical level, but on an energetic and emotional level as well. So the invitation is this. Before you begin to prepare your food, take a moment to check your inner state. If you are agitated, pause. Take a few deep breaths. Find your center. Approach the task not as a burden, but as an opportunity for mindful practice. Let the preparation be a dance, a quiet ceremony. By doing so, you ensure that the food you eat will offer not just sustenance, but also peace, harmony, and a deeper form of vitality. This is the art of proper preparation. Forcing ripeness, we now arrive at a very subtle yet profoundly important mistake. It is the mistake of forcing ripeness. We have all experienced this with an avocado. We bring it home and it is firm, hard, unyielding. It is not yet ready. Our modern mind, conditioned for instant gratification, becomes impatient. We want it now. And so we might try tricks to hasten the process, or worse, we cut into it prematurely, only to find a flesh that is tough, bitter, and unsatisfying. In this simple act, the avocado is teaching us one of life's most essential lessons, the wisdom of timing. There is a natural rhythm to things, a natural unfolding. Some things cannot be rushed. To force them is to spoil them. This impatience with the avocado is a mirror of our impatience with ourselves and with life. We want success now. We want enlightenment now. We want healing now. We want our children to grow up faster, or we want our own difficult situations to resolve immediately. We are constantly trying to force the ripeness of life's experiences. We resist the natural flow. We fight against the current. This struggle creates immense tension, frustration, and suffering. It is like trying to pry open a flower bud with your fingers. You will only destroy the petals. You will never see the beauty of its natural blossoming. The avocado, in its humble way, teaches us to wait, to be patient, to observe. It teaches us to develop a sensitivity to the state of things. A gentle press tells you if it is ready. It does not require force, only awareness. To learn this lesson is to cultivate a profound sense of peace. It is to understand that there is a right time for everything, a time for action and a time for waiting, a time for speaking and a time for silence, a time for planting and a time for harvesting. The wise person, like the person who knows how to choose a perfect avocado, understands these rhythms. They do not waste their energy fighting against what is. Instead, they align themselves with the natural flow. This alignment is a source of great power and efficiency. When the time is right, action is effortless and effective. When the time is not right, even the most strenuous effort is futile and frustrating. This is a truth that many only begin to grasp in their later years, after a lifetime of pushing and striving. So, how do we practice this? We use the avocado as our teacher. When you have one that is not yet ripe, see it not as an inconvenience, but as a lesson in patience. Place it on your counter and observe it each day. Give it a gentle press. Notice the subtle changes. Let it teach you to wait. In doing so, you are training your mind to be more patient with yourself, with others, and with the unfolding of your own life. You are learning to trust the process. You are learning that ripeness, whether in a fruit or in a life situation, is a state of grace that arrives in its own time. It cannot be manufactured through force of will. It can only be received with grateful awareness when the conditions are right. This acceptance of life's natural timing is a hallmark of true wisdom. It is the antidote to the anxiety and stress that come from constantly trying to control the uncontrollable. It is a path to a more relaxed, harmonious, and effective way of being in the world. Wasting potential. The fifth mistake is one of waste, but not in the way we usually think. It is the mistake of wasting potential, of failing to see the wholeness of things. When we prepare an avocado, what do most of us do? We slice it open, scoop out the rich green flesh, and we discard the skin and the large smooth pit in the center. We see them as waste, as the inedible parts to be thrown away. In this act of discarding, we are making a profound error in perception. We are failing to see the cycle of life and the potential that exists in every part of a whole. That large central pit is not an end. It is a beginning. It holds within it the blueprint for an entire new tree. It is pure potential, the promise of future life, of future nourishment. To throw it away without a second thought is to throw away a miracle. This habit of seeing things in terms of their immediate utility to us is a deep-seated one. We look at people, situations, and even parts of ourselves, and we label them useful or useless. The parts we deem useless, we try to discard. We discard difficult memories. We discard challenging relationships. We discard parts of our personality that we don't like. But just like the pit of the avocado, these discarded parts often hold the most potential for growth. The difficult memory holds a lesson. The challenging relationship holds a mirror to our own unresolved issues. The parts of our personality we dislike hold the key to our own integration and wholeness. To waste the pit is to practice the art of ignoring potential. It is to train our minds to see only the surface, the immediate payoff, and to be blind to the deeper hidden possibilities. The skin, too, is not mere waste. It served as a protective barrier, guarding the delicate flesh within. In its decomposition, it can return its nutrients to the soil, becoming part of the cycle that will nourish future life. It has a role to play even after its primary function is complete. This teaches us that nothing is ever truly wasted in nature. Everything is part of a continuous cycle of transformation. To understand this is to develop a more holistic and sustainable way of living. It is to see the value in endings as well as beginnings, in decay as well as in growth. It is to appreciate the role that every single part plays in the integrity of the whole. Therefore, the correction for this mistake is to cultivate an eye for potential. The next time you hold that avocado pit in your hand, pause. Feel its smoothness, its weight, its promise. You do not have to grow a tree from every pit, but you must acknowledge the potential it holds. This acknowledgement is the key. It is a shift in consciousness. It is the decision to see wholeness, to see cycles, to see hidden possibilities. This is a practice that can transform how you see your own life. You begin to see the potential in your own perceived failings, the seeds of new growth in your own moments of difficulty. You stop discarding parts of your experience and start integrating them, learning from them. For a person in their mature years, this is the essence of harvesting wisdom from a lifetime of experience. It is the understanding that every part of the journey, even the parts that were once discarded as waste, contributed to the person you are today. It is the art of seeing the seed of a new beginning in every ending, solely physical. We have now arrived at the final and most critical mistake. It is the culmination of all the others, the one that can be truly fatal to the spirit. This is the mistake of believing the nourishment is solely physical. It is the belief that an avocado is merely a collection of healthy fats, vitamins, and minerals, and that its purpose ends once it has been digested by the body. To see it this way is to be profoundly blind. It is to live in a world that is flat, a world without depth, without meaning, without soul. The physical nourishment is real, it is important, it is the foundation, but it is only the first layer. It is the invitation, not the destination. The true, lasting nourishment that this fruit offers is the nourishment of awareness. Every mistake we have discussed stems from this one fundamental error. We eat mindlessly because we believe it is only a physical act. We ignore its origins because we see it only as a physical object. We prepare it with agitation because we are unaware of the energetic transfer. We force its ripeness because we are focused only on the physical gratification. We waste its potential because we see only the physically edible parts. All of these errors are symptoms of a deeper ailment, a disconnection from the non-physical, from the dimension of meaning, of presence, of spirit. To live only for the physical is a form of death in life. The body may be alive, but the spirit is dormant. This is the fatal danger the title speaks of. Not a physical death, but the slow, quiet death of the soul from a lack of meaningful nourishment. The avocado, in its simple existence, is an object of meditation. It is a teacher, it is a reminder, it teaches presence, gratitude, patience, and the recognition of potential. It reminds us of our connection to the earth, to the sun, to the entire web of life. To engage with it on this level is to receive a much deeper form of nourishment. This nourishment strengthens the mind, clarifies the spirit, and brings a sense of peace and belonging that no amount of vitamins can provide. This is the food that truly sustains us through life's challenges. It is the food that builds not just a healthy body, but a resilient and wise spirit. When we eat with this awareness, the simple act of a meal becomes a sacred ritual, a moment of profound connection to the truth of our being. This understanding is the greatest gift of maturity. It is the wisdom that life experience offers us. In our youth, we are often consumed by the physical, by ambition, by desire, by the building of our external lives. But as we age, a space opens up for a deeper kind of inquiry. We begin to ask not just, what can I get, but what does this mean? To see the avocado, and indeed all of life, as a teacher is the answer to that question. It is the key to transforming the later years of life from a period of decline into a period of profound spiritual harvest. It is the understanding that true vitality comes not just from what we put into our bodies, but from the quality of awareness we bring to our lives. This is the final lesson. To miss this is to miss everything. It is to eat the fruit, but to starve the soul. And that is a mistake from which it is very difficult to recover. Which of these reflections made you pause and see a simple act in a new light?